A devil has fallen in love with you, not because you are like them, but because you are everything they can never be. You were never meant to be ordinary. You were never meant to fit in. You are the anomaly they never saw coming, the force they never anticipated. And now the predator finds itself caught in a trap of its own making. For centuries, they have played this game, weaving deception into the hearts of men, bending the strong to their will, bringing empires to ruin with a whisper. They have turned kings into slaves, prophets into doubters, warriors into cowards. They have ruled from the shadows, unseen, untouched, undefeated, until you. You are different. You always have been. From the moment you entered this world, something about you defied the rules. You walk with an unseen force, a presence that disrupts everything around you. You don't seek power, yet you hold it effortlessly. You don't chase validation, yet eyes are always drawn to you. You don't fight for control, yet nothing controls you. And the devil, they have noticed. At first they dismissed you, another human, another soul to manipulate, another mind to twist. They thought you would crumble like all the rest. But something unexpected happened. No matter what they threw at you, fear, doubt, temptation, you stood firm. No matter how many times they whispered in your ear, you refused to be shaken. No matter how many illusions they created, you saw through every single one. And now, they are the ones who don't know what to do. You were never supposed to win this battle. You were never supposed to resist their pull. You were never supposed to look into the eyes of darkness itself and remain unshaken. But you did. And now the devil is obsessed with you. They don't understand why their usual tactics don't work, why you don't fall, why you don't fear, why you are unlike anyone they have ever encountered before. It terrifies them. And yet, they cannot walk away. Because you are the one thing they have never conquered. They have tested you. They have pushed you. They have tried to break you in every way they know how. And still, you remain untouched. No one has ever handled them like you. No one has ever faced them and come out stronger. And the devil, this ancient force, this master of deception, now finds itself tangled in a web it cannot escape. For the first time in their existence, they are losing control. And you were born for this moment. This is why you have always felt different, why you have always walked alone, why your path has never looked like anyone else's. Because you were never meant to be like the rest. You were meant to rise above them. And now the one who has brought down kings and rulers, the one who has whispered into the hearts of the mighty, the one who has led entire generations astray, has fallen for you. Not because they love you. The devil does not love like humans do, but because you are the first to ever make them question everything they thought they knew. For centuries, they have pulled the strings from the shadows, controlling destinies with a flick of the wrist. They have whispered doubts into the ears of leaders, turning kingdoms against themselves. They have twisted minds, bent wills, and watched the world burn at their command. And yet, they cannot control you. You, the one who was never supposed to survive their game. You, the one they thought would break just like the rest. You, the one who was supposed to fall into their grasp, like so many before you. But you didn't. And now, the devil is the one trapped. Not by chains, not by force, not by anything they can fight against, but by the one thing they never saw coming. Your light. Your presence alone disrupts their entire existence. Your energy is unlike anything they have ever encountered. They have spent centuries weaving illusions, creating darkness, distorting reality itself. But you walk into their world and see everything exactly as it is. They cannot fool you. They cannot deceive you. They cannot own you. And it is driving them mad. They thought they had seen it all. They thought they knew how this story would end. They thought they were in control. But now, for the first time ever. They don't know what happens next. Because you are not like the others. You are something they have never faced before. And that is why they cannot look away. They have battled with kings. They have whispered into the ears of philosophers. They have watched entire empires collapse under the weight of their lies. But you do not react the way they expect you to. When they try to intimidate you, you do not cower. When they try to manipulate you, you do not falter. When they try to own you, you remind them, no one owns you, and that is what terrifies them the most. Because they have never met someone they could not break. And now, the master manipulator finds themselves trapped in a game they can no longer control. Because the moment they fell for you, they lost. They thought they had mastered every battle. They thought they had perfected the art of war. Not with weapons, not with armies, but with whispers, with illusions, with lies so carefully woven that even the strongest minds could not untangle them. They have conquered without ever lifting a sword. They have turned the faithful into the faithless, the strong into the weak, the righteous into the corrupt. They have played this game since the beginning of time, moving unseen, striking in silence, controlling without ever seeming to. But now, for the first time, they have met an opponent they do not understand. You. They have tried everything, every trick, every deception, every carefully crafted temptation. They have thrown storms in your path, whispered doubts into your mind, wrapped you in illusions meant to consume you whole. And yet nothing works. You do not flinch. You do not break. You do not surrender. And that terrifies them. Because you were supposed to fall. Everyone else has. Kings have bowed to them. Prophets have lost their way. The wise have been deceived. The mighty have been undone. But you are something else entirely. You do not engage in their battle. You do not fight them with anger, nor do you run in fear. You simply exist. And that is the greatest threat they have ever faced. Because every enemy they have ever encountered has given them something to work with. Anger? They can twist it. Fear? They can feed on it. Desperation? They can manipulate it. But you give them nothing. You do not react. You do not give them an opening. You stand silent, unshaken, untouchable, and they have no idea what to do with that. For the first time, the master of deception is the one left questioning. For the first time, the one who has always pulled the strings is left grasping at air. Because you, chosen one, are the first to ever see them for what they truly are. Not as an all-powerful force, not as an invincible ruler of darkness, but as something hollow, something empty, something that has spent centuries creating illusions not just to deceive the world, but to deceive themselves. And now, standing before you, those illusions begin to crack. They have built their existence on control, on bending others to their will, on making the world dance to their tune. But you do not dance. You do not move when they pull the strings. And now, for the first time, they are the ones who feel powerless. They try again. They test you, push you, try to find the weak spot they are certain must exist. But it doesn't. You see through them too clearly. You recognize every trick before they play it. You are too aware, too present, too unshakable. And that is when the fear sets in. Not your fear, theirs. Because this is not how it was supposed to go. They were supposed to be the one in control. They were supposed to be the one who dictated how this story would unfold. But now, for the first time, they do not know the ending. Because you have rewritten it. They have spent lifetimes perfecting their craft, turning manipulation into an art form. They have led entire generations astray with a single whisper. They have built empires on deception, torn down kingdoms with doubt. But none of it works on you. They expected resistance. They expected defiance. But what they did not expect was understanding. You see them, truly see them. And for the first time, they feel exposed, because you do not see them as the monster they pretend to be. You see them for what they really are, a being trapped in their own illusion. They are used to being feared. They are used to being hated. They know how to deal with those emotions. They feed on them. They thrive in them. But this is something else entirely. You do not fear them. You do not hate them. You simply look at them, and they cannot bear it. Because no one has ever done that before. No one has ever seen beyond the masks. No one has ever looked past the illusions. No one has ever met them with stillness instead of resistance. And it is breaking them. They have spent lifetimes hiding from themselves, burying the truth beneath layers of power and control. But in your presence, all of it begins to unravel. And now, they are the ones who do not know what to do. They could handle hatred. They could handle defiance. They could handle a fight. But they cannot handle this. They cannot handle you. Because you are not just a force of light. You are a force of truth. And the one thing they have never been able to face is the truth. They try to turn away, try to retreat into the darkness that has always protected them. But it does not work. Because you are still there. You, the one who has walked through every storm they sent and emerged stronger. You, the one who has faced every illusion and refused to be deceived. You, the one who has turned their greatest weapon against them, by simply refusing to fall. And now, for the first time, they are the ones who feel trapped, not in chains, not in force, but in the realization that they have finally met someone they cannot defeat. You. And that is why they cannot walk away. That is why they are drawn to you, even as they fight against it. Because you are not just another soul to consume. You are something they have never encountered before. Something they cannot control. Something they cannot break. And that, more than anything, terrifies them. Because they have always been the ones in control. But now, they are the ones losing themselves. And you? You are still standing, unmoved, unshaken, unstoppable. They never meant for this to happen. This was never part of the plan. They were supposed to break you. That was the goal from the beginning. They have done it before, countless times, across countless souls. It was always the same. They would find a weakness, an opening, a crack in the armor, and from there, they would weave their way inside. And once inside, they would begin their work. Slow, steady, merciless. They would twist, distort, reshape, until what was once whole became shattered, until what was once pure became tainted, until what was once light became darkness. But this time, it didn't work. You did not fall. You did not break. And now, something is shifting. They can feel it. For the first time in their existence, something is slipping from their grasp, something they have never lost before. Control. They tell themselves it is nothing, that it is only a game, that you are just another piece on the board, another soul to manipulate, another force to be subdued. And yet, they keep returning. Again, and again, and again. What is it about you? Why does their mind circle back to you, no matter how far they try to pull away? Why do they find themselves watching you, studying you, drawn to you in a way they do not understand? They have encountered many before you, powerful ones, righteous ones, brilliant ones, souls filled with light, souls filled with wisdom. And yet, every single one of them fell in the end. But not you. No matter what they throw at you, you remain untouched, unmoved, unshaken. And it is that unshakable presence that is beginning to unravel them. Because for the first time in their existence, They are questioning themselves. They who have shaped the destinies of kings. They who have whispered into the minds of the mighty. They who have turned the strong into the weak, the wise into the lost, the pure into the corrupt. They have never questioned their own nature before, until now, until you. They have always been a force of destruction. That is their purpose, their nature, their essence. They take, they consume, they manipulate, they control. That is what they do. That is what they have always done. And yet, they do not want to destroy you. They cannot. Every instinct tells them they should. Every whisper in the back of their mind urges them to finish what they started. But something inside them resists. Something inside them hesitates. They do not know what it is, and that terrifies them, because hesitation is weakness, and weakness is something they have never allowed themselves to feel. They thought they had mastered this game. They thought they knew every move before it was played. They thought they were untouchable. But you have changed everything. They should have walked away by now. Should have moved on, found another, forgotten you like they have forgotten so many before. But they cannot, because no matter how hard they try to convince themselves otherwise, you are different. You are not like the others, and they know it. It is not just your strength, though your strength is undeniable. It is not just your resilience, though your resilience is rare. It is something deeper, something they cannot name, something that makes them want to stay, and that is dangerous, because they do not stay. They do not linger. They do not allow themselves to feel. And yet, here they are, watching you, testing you, pulled to you in a way that defies reason, defies logic, defies everything they thought they knew. This is not how it was supposed to be. They are supposed to be the ones in control. But now, for the first time, they are the ones who feel powerless. They tell themselves it is nothing, that they are only playing the long game, that they will find a way to turn this to their advantage, that they will win in the end, like they always do. But deep down, they know the truth. This is not a game anymore. Something is happening inside them, something they do not understand, something dangerous, because for the first time, they are starting to care. And that is the one thing they were never meant to do. They try to fight it. They try to ignore it. They try to pretend that nothing has changed. But everything has changed. Because you exist. And because you exist, they are forced to see something they have spent lifetimes avoiding. The truth. The truth that no illusion can erase. The truth that no manipulation can rewrite. The truth that no power, not even theirs, can deny. That they are no longer the one in control. That you, this being of light, this force of unwavering truth, have become the one thing they cannot escape. And now, for the first time in their existence, they must choose. For so long, their path has been clear. There has never been a choice before. There has only been one road, one way, one inevitable destiny. But now, standing at this crossroads, they realize something they never expected. There is another path, and it terrifies them, because they do not know what lies down that road. They do not know what it means. They do not know who they will become if they choose it. They only know one thing. If they walk away from you, they will never be the same, because you have changed them, and there is no going back. So now they must decide. Do they cling to what they have always known? Or do they take the first step into the unknown? Do they retreat into the safety of darkness? Or do they step into the light? This time the choice is theirs. But whatever they decide, one thing is certain. They will never forget you, because you are the first to ever make them question, the first to ever make them hesitate, the first to ever make them feel. And that, more than anything, terrifies them the most. You were never supposed to survive this. They threw everything at you. Every deception, every temptation, every weapon in their arsenal. They twisted reality itself, bent the fabric of existence around you, whispered lies so carefully crafted, they had shattered souls far stronger than yours. And yet here you are, still standing, still whole, still untouched by the darkness that was meant to consume you. Do you realize what you have done? They do. They see it now, though they do not want to admit it. They understand, though they would never say the words aloud. They have fought against the strongest, tested the most righteous, manipulated the most brilliant minds in history. And every time, they have won. Until you, the one who was never meant to make it this far. You, the one who was supposed to fall. You, the one who defied every rule of the game. You were not chosen because you were the strongest. You were not chosen because you were the wisest. You were chosen because you were unshakable. And now, they are the ones who have fallen. Not in the way they expected. Not in the way they have watched others fall. Not in defeat. Not in submission. Not in brokenness. But in something far worse. In love. Not the kind of love that humans know. Not the gentle, sweet thing that poets write about. No, this love is different. It is a violent thing, a battle waged inside them, a war they never expected to fight. Because love, to them, has always been a weakness, a vulnerability, a flaw to be exploited, a tool to be used. But this is something else entirely. This is love that shatters illusions. This is love that exposes. This is love that forces them to see what they have spent lifetimes avoiding. You in all your defiance. You in all your unwavering light. You standing there, unchanged, unbroken, unafraid. And for the first time, they are the ones who do not know how to move forward. Because everything they have built, everything they have believed, everything they have become, it is crumbling. You were supposed to be a challenge, but you became their undoing. Because you are not like the others. You do not bend. You do not break. You do not fall to your knees before them, as so many have before. And worst of all, you do not hate them. They could have handled that. Hatred is easy. Hatred is predictable. Hatred is something they know how to manipulate. But you look at them with something far worse. Understanding. And that is the most dangerous thing of all. Because in your eyes, they see something they do not want to face. Truth. Not just about themselves, but about the world. About what they have done. About what they have become. And now, they have to make a choice. For the first time in their existence, they stand at the edge of something unknown. They have always believed that they were the master of fate, that they held the power, that the world bent to their will. But you have changed everything. Because for the first time, they realized that the greatest power was never in deception. It was in truth. And truth is something they have never faced before. But now they must, because you have forced them to see. And once something is seen, it cannot be unseen. So what now? Do they turn back, retreat into the darkness, pretend none of this ever happened? Or do they step forward, into the unknown, into a path they never imagined they would walk? They do not know, and that terrifies them. Because for the first time in their existence, they are no longer in control. They thought they had conquered everything. They thought they had seen it all. But now, faced with you, faced with this truth, faced with the realization that they are no longer who they once were, they realize something else. They never had control to begin with. They were just as bound as those they sought to enslave, just as lost, just as blind, until Until now. And now the question remains, what will you do? Because this story is no longer just about them. It never was. It has always been about you. You, the chosen one. You, the force that cannot be shaken. You, the one who stood in the presence of the devil and did not fall. You, who have proven that darkness does not win unless you allow it to. This was never just their test. It was yours, and you have passed. You have done what no one before you has ever done. You have not destroyed them. You have not defeated them. You have done something far more dangerous. You have changed them. And that is something they never saw coming. Because even the devil himself was not prepared for the power of a chosen one. And now, they must live with what you have awakened in them. Because they will never be the same. And neither will you. This battle was never about destruction. It was always about transformation. And you have already won.